Hey guys, I'm Heintje and I've cleaned my bike after last week's session in a very wet Green Hill bike park. Now it's time to get it dirty again. For this one I met up with fellow YouTuber Joost and together with Max we went to Bikepark Ferme Libert in Malmedy. Let's start with warming up on an easy trail, or at least we hope so. The first thing that really stands out is that this park is really bare bones. No fancy trail names, signs with difficulty or anything. Same goes for the features. Make sure you know what you're hitting before fully committing. You slowly have to find a way that works for you. On our first run we got to this drop. Looks doable but also quite consequential. For now let's continue on the right option at the split and follow the line. A couple of turns later the difficulty of the trail is all of a sudden on a whole other level. With many splits and merges on the lines, you really have to figure out the right combination. From this point we continued by going underneath the lift path and into the forest for a bit of tech to end our first run. Second run went a bit better. I hit the simple drops in the top section, still didn't clear the big jumps and tried some other lines through the forest. Next run we went for another line. This one is a bit simpler. The jumps are a bit smaller. You can really notice they put in the work during the winter. The trails are running really smooth, barely any braking bumps, yet. I assume this will get worse over time, so if this park is on your list, you might not want to wait too long for a smooth experience. Now before I continue the jump line, let me pause the video for a moment. Here you have not one, not two, but three table jumps next to each other. And then you look up and realize they're all inside the loose fast jump. Truly insane. Now to resume the line. First a couple of low but long jumps. I'm sure you can crash just as hard on those, but since you stay relatively close to the ground, they don't feel that scary at all. Therefore easy to clear. Next section you really want to scout out first. Here I came over a couple of crests only to be surprised by a steep corner, giving me quite a scare. I'm sure you can imagine when going too fast into those corners, combine that with the lack of grip due to the crest and you'll have the perfect recipe for disaster. The berms are shaped beautiful and will give you all the support you need, only be careful with the grit on the inside. That's like riding on marbles. After this last jump I ended too much on the inside, resulting in yet another scare, thankfully nothing worse. Next run it went already a bit better, but I have to say, I wasn't really feeling it this day. I still had the stoke of last week in Green Hill on my mind. Once again, proving the power of toe-ins, go check out my video on Green Hill and see what jumps I cleared on the first run. Now compare that to this day. However, it's not just the toe-ins. The terrain here also didn't help. Somehow I felt a lot safer in last week's mud compared to the rocky dirt here. Back to the top. This time it's time to check out that drop again. The drop itself is very low speed, so almost impossible to come up short. You can also land pretty deep without any issue. But of course, my mind had to come up with something to make me doubt. This time it was the speed I would gain and the berm that follows it up. So I did the sensible thing and checked out the run out first. Also I would like to know what comes after the berm. Turns out a straight section with tiny drops. No issue for the big bike. Now I reached that moment that I had to commit or not do it at all this day. I knew I could do it, so I gave it a couple of cranks to get rolling and went for it. At this point, the nice thing to do was to stop and wait for my friend kind enough to film, but fuck it. I was too stoked and just kept going all the way down. On my way, even clearing one more jump, a small but narrow and tricky jump into the forest. At this moment, two things happened. First of all, it clicked for me and I got the flow back. Second, the weather forecast screwed us over and it started raining. We had our lunch while we waited for the rain to pass, and once the worst was over, the landscape looked like this. The afternoon was all about improving lines we'd already done. My main goal was to clear all 4 jumps in the bottom section. The first one was easy, but even with landing this one clean in the landing, I came up short on the second one. The third jump came down to the speed I dared to carry through the berm. For the last one, this one wasn't hard to clear, it was however hard to land clean. The jump had the tendency to send you nose heavy, but in its return led to me overcompensating and landing really heavy instead. Now everything was wet, the forced ending was more sketchy than fun, so I could attempt these jumps every run now. While I keep on trying to clear these jumps, let me use this time to thank everyone for supporting my channel. Is it by watching my videos, subscribing or even commenting. Without all of your kind support, I wouldn't be so motivated to keep making videos. So again, thank you very much. It took me quite a few attempts, but in the end I got this run. With that 4 out of 4 in the back, I gave the bigger jump line another try. This didn't work out. I did not dare to steer on the wet bridge, giving me a terrible line into the next berm. As a result, I didn't have the speed for the next jump. And didn't have the balls for the last one. All I got was one more drop to cross off the list. Speaking of drops, let's go back to the big drop. Where at first I was scared of going too fast through the berm, now I was going faster each run. Up to the point that I thought I could clear the jump a little down the line. For this one I have to give my apologies to my bike. I'm sure by the sound it made bottoming out, it did not like it. Sorry slacker, I promise. I will get you a stiffer coil in order to prevent this pain in the future. Maybe I stand a chance if I don't brake from the moment I land the drop, so I gave that one a try. And one more attempt, now with the clear line. Not braking, still not braking. It was at this point that I chickened out and pulled those levers. Looking at the GPS data, I was going over 50 an hour at that point. Speeds the bike clearly has no issue with, it's just that I'm not used to those speeds, at least not on a bike. So these jumps are for another time. Those of you who've been here might know there are some more technical trails on the forest side. And yes, we did give those a try as well. Only we did it after the rain, so let's say this was not our best riding. Well, let me conclude the video while I show these trails. Malmedy or Ferme Libert is a great park to step up your game. The jumps go from small to huge to even insane. Although the loose fast line is closed, the jumps available should provide more than enough challenge for mere mortals. It does take you a couple of runs to scout out the lines you want to ride, but please, do take the time for this. There are so many blind features in this park, you can seriously hurt yourself if you don't know what's behind them. The tech side is more suited for dry weather. They mix these lines up with some pretty big features that require a good run up and run out. Here goes the same advice, check out the lines first. There are so many splits that you really need to know which side to take and what features you will encounter. Altogether, I feel this park is more suited for the intermediate to advanced riders. The options for beginners are very limited. Basically all there is for them is half a line, only to somehow find their way down over the tables that are way out of their league. One more thing I have to mention, the price. You pay per uplift. €10 for 10 lifts. At the end of the day we done 20 runs, less than half of the price for a day of Winterberg. Don't worry about not using all your runs either. I still had a ticket from several years ago and was able to use that just fine.
Even maar remmen inremmen.
With that, I've come to the point where I thank you for watching, tell you I hope to see you back for my next video and say, houdoe.